guys, it is Monday at Joe Nall 2019. Finally, the blue skies are out.
And James here has been starting to learn to fly it. He's taken off, flying around. He hasn't landed yet, but he's getting there.
So I'm not going to do too much talking as he flies. Let the plane do the talking for himself. So here we go.
Hello pilots, welcome to the Mary Boozer RC channel. I'm James with Motion RC, and it's a pleasure to join you guys here on this Sunday night. Now, unfortunately, I was gonna come on the show, I wanted to come on the show and be live, but this is a pre-recorded message. If you're seeing me right now, I am in New Orleans with my wife celebrating our 10-year wedding anniversary, which was last month, so that's what I'm doing. But as far as getting back from that, I get back Wednesday of this week, and then Thursday we're packing up because Friday we head out to Nall in the fall, the second annual fall Joe Nall event. It has all the same flight lines and everything that Joe Nall offers, probably with better weather when it's late September and October in South Carolina. Now, the reason I wanted to come on here is because, if you guys have already heard, you might not, Mary Boozer, Lori, and Wes will be coming to Joe Nall. We've invited them to join us as Motion RC. We'll be flying them up to Greenville, South Carolina. They'll be spending Saturday to Saturday with us. So Wes just has to bring his transmitter. Lori's just got to bring her camera and her live stream gear, and we plan on doing a ton of videos. I want Wes flying everything I got all week long, and demoing our models, talking to customers, and just having an awesome time. Now, joining obviously Wes and Lori with me and Alex behind the camera will be George Baker and Steve Hodges. Those two from Tired Iron Aviation, always such a big help and always a pleasure every time I get to meet up with those guys and do some flying. So it'll be the 6 of us commencing on the Triple Tree Aerodrome next week. So again, Friday, I think it's September 28th to Saturday, the following Saturday, October 5th. You can find Motion RC at the Nall in the Fall event. We'll be set up down at the electric line as we always are. We get a full quarter of that big electric hangar, and we're gonna have so much stuff there. Namely, I'm finally gonna get a chance to maiden the ProFly OV10. I've been working on her in and out of all the other things I do. My job had a little electrical issue as I was setting her up. I burnt an ESC out accidentally, plugged something in wrong. Had to wait for those new parts, got her all set up, ready to go. And I wanted to maiden her before this weekend, before I left for this trip with my wife, but unfortunately the weather just a little too windy around here to do any sort of maiden. So I'm gonna save it till that first Saturday morning down at Triple Tree. I can't wait to get her to fly though. She looks so gorgeous. I got my tape on top for my CG. It is all CG'd. All the rates and throws are looking good. So now it's just a matter of getting her up in the air. Now, as far as Motion RC goes, guys, down at Nall in the Fall, we may not have an announcement for you guys. I'm not going to know that until I'm down there, so hopefully we do, but as you know, there's always something coming from Motion RC. It's been a while since our last release, so something's bound to pop, but we always just want to make sure everything is right. So now, if again, I want to send it back to Wes, I want you guys to enjoy the show, and hopefully the plan will be, as long as our internet works, as long as we can do a hotspot, next Sunday's show is going to be on the Mary Boozer channel, and it will commence from the tent at Joe Nall. It'll commence from the Motion RC tent, so we're looking forward to that. And then the plan might be for the following Friday, at Joe Nall to do a live stream with the Mary Boozers on Motion RC's YouTube channel, sort of like a wrap-up show, because that Friday is usually the last big day of both Joe Nall and the Nall in the Fall events. So either way, guys, we look forward so much to seeing you if you are coming to Triple Tree. If not, stay tuned to the Motion RC social media channels. Stay tuned to the Mary Boozer social media channels, because I'm sure Wes and Lori will be going off on their own, doing a lot of stuff, taking a lot of pictures and video. And either way, we're just so excited to be able to have the Mary Boozers come and join us, and we're really looking forward to it. So I'm going to send it over to Wes. Wanted to say thank you guys for having me quick, and we'll see you next week from Nall in the Fall.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Mary Boozers RC channel. Hopefully y'all enjoyed our short little segment from James there. It was really cool to have him on the show for a few minutes, even though it was pre-recorded. We really thank him for doing what he's done for us, and we are super excited about being at Joe Nall next weekend with those guys. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Tonight, I know a lot of y'all want to know a little bit more about the new Arrow's Bigfoot, and we've got it sitting here in front of us. We also have the Marlin sitting over here. We've been really excited to fly it. The wind has just not been very cooperative with
But
us this
first, we want to thank every one of you for coming by and hanging with the boozers on Sunday evening. That's the big thing. So welcome everyone out there in TV land.
Yeah, definitely, guys. It's without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this every week, and it really does make it something special every time. It's a lot of fun. It wouldn't afford us the ability to have this new airplane sitting here. It's so neat to have something that's brand new to the market. It's kind of a surreal experience, Really neat. And I'm glad that you guys are trusting enough in us to be the ones to have it to show it to you. And tonight, after the show, we are going to be premiering on Ryan's channel, Pilot Ryan and Captain Mike RC. He's going to have the premiere video of his Bigfoot flight at 10 o'clock right now, unless the show ends early for some reason. And then mine is coming out right at 10:15. So we're all going to come from here to there to over back to here. It's going to be a lot of fun, something a little different than normal.
What about us old guys that go to bed at 10?
Well, you got to think that only us over here on this side of the country are going to bed at 10.
That's right. If
There's
you're
the
on
guys on the East Coast, they're 4 hours back. It's like 5 o'clock when we get done with all
That's
this.
like GB Linden. He can watch, right?
Right, definitely. So, anyway, it's really cool. We do have some special guests tonight. We're going to have RC Jet Dude into the stream tonight to tell us about his Apache helicopter that he's been flying. Looks phenomenal. We'll be getting him in just in a few minutes to talk about that.
I can't wait to see. We don't have a whole lot of helicopter guys here.
Yeah, the helicopter guys have been kind of small as far as our group goes, but I used to really enjoy helicopters. Dad's seen me fly them a couple times. They're a lot of fun. It's just nobody in my group did it, so I got out of them. But
yeah,
I got pretty big into them for a little bit. I had 10 or 12 of them.
I go back all the way to where they were gas powered, and really, you had to be a real good pilot and a person that had a lot of money to be interested in helicopters in the 80s.
They're just not very forgiving.
No.
And back then they really weren't
They
forgiving.
wouldn't, and then I remember that just the blades on those helicopters were like $200 a piece.
Yeah,
they're
gotten a lot more reasonable. I think when I was flying last time, they were about $50
You
a
had to
piece
be
for
in the drug
helicopter
wars
blades.
or something to have a helicopter back when.
Yeah, it's a lot different now, though. Just think about airplanes in general.
Yeah.
We're talking about this Bigfoot here for $150 after the rebates right now. What is it?
And Wesley and I were
think.
talking about this particular airplane, about how it fits a whole genre of people.
Yeah.
It can be exciting for a newbie that has somebody to help them.
Right.
I don't know if this would be a brand
Yeah, I don't know
new
about a
airplane,
first person ever flying
but
something
this
going
would
out.
be a plane for a person that had someone to help them at first to get going, and I think it would be a very good airplane with a trainer.
It's like
And
a buddy box plane.
And then Wesley's out there.
I've been having a ball with it. I'm still a very advanced pilot, but it's still a plane that I can have fun with because it hovers down in the landing, and then it's got the strong landing gear to where if you do make a mistake on your crazy landings.
But we both have similar aircraft to this because of wind.
Right.
And we would go when everybody else packs their stuff up. Here
It
we
goes
are.
home,
We're going.
yeah.
Okay, it's 20 miles an hour, so we go.
Let's
out
go
there.
have fun.
I had the
Pandora. And I always used to fly my
made it
timber.
a high wing, and you had the timber, and we just go out there and see how far we could fly without going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's a great airplane, guys. And this airplane will do anything you want it to do.
Yeah.
It can do docile. It can be
Crazy with your hair on fire.
Yep.
And you'll see it tonight, guys. Ryan's video, he's got it on a nicer day, and I think him and Bobby Committa both flew really well. Is it tree proof, Wesley? Is what refer. It is not
Well,
tree proof.
well,
I haven't found out yet.
Well, now it does have the high density foam.
That's right. It's high density foam.
I mean,
So unless you hit it really hard,
really hard foam. So what do they call it? I forgot what they call this stuff.
I can't remember. EPS, EPO, something like that. One of you will correct me.
Yeah,
something like that.
But
It's a very hard
I mean,
foam.
it is really a very high density foam. So yes, it could be tree proof.
If you're anything like our buddy Crash the Kevin, if he flew it at his house, it'd probably be a tree magnet. That's what happened to the Viper up there in the corner. Oh, and I forgot to turn the lights off tonight for the background, but whatever. I mean, you can see us good tonight. But the Viper is over there. It's kind of blown out right now, but old Crash put that one in a tree for us.
And Lori.
Lori is going to try it.
Lori's going to try this one. Everybody wants Lori to fly the Bigfoot, so
we want Lori to try them both.
Yeah,
She's going to fly the Marlin and the Bigfoot both. So, and then if you can see this little guy behind us, it's a little cow holding his little airplane. Lori made that this week. Most of y'all don't know it, but she is a crocheter.
Yes.
Yes, crocheter. There we go. I always say it wrong. If you call it knitting, she'll come over here and jump on me and kill me. But anyway, not to take it too far away from the airplanes, but. Dude, guys, we are really enjoying the Bigfoot. I haven't got a chance to fly the Marlin. The weather has been kind of around Florida this week.
For some reason, now it's
really
decided
windy
to have a wind from east to west across Florida. It's very, the one thing about it, the wind and no humidity has made it somewhere bearable.
It has been
Florida,
very nice as far as the weather.
but it
goes.
has not been very good RC
Not
weather.
fly weather, though. Yeah.
But we are not going to complain because I'm not sitting out there just sweating all the time.
Right, it has been a lot nicer. Lori, if you want to start getting our first guest in, just let me know when he's ready. Anyway, guys, it's been a ball. I have really enjoyed this airplane. I can't wait for you guys to see the videos of it. And I can't wait for you guys to start getting it and putting your videos out of this airplane because I think you're really going to enjoy it. And we do have it linked in the description for anybody that's interested in a Bigfoot that didn't get to see him last night or any of the other posts coming up. We do have the link in the description. You can go right to it and purchase your Bigfoot or check it out. If you want to do it, Marlin's on there too if you're interested in a Marlin.
Great first jet.
Yeah. The Marlin, like I said, I haven't got a chance to fly it, but the build quality on the Marlin looks phenomenal, guys. I have heard some guys saying that take the sticker off on the motor. Some of the guys are saying it's fine. I don't know. I'm going to fly mine as it came out of the box.
But if you hear a noise, you know what it is.
If it makes a noise, we'll come in and land it. We'll take the sticker off. But if not, I'm going to leave it alone like it is. I like to see how they come right out of the box, and you're going to see it. Whether it goes out there and burns up or if it flies, you'll know. That's something we've always told you on the Boozers channel. We want to be honest with you. Whether there's a same thing on product reviews, like we said last night, we wanted to tell you our honest thoughts of what would be better, what would be worse, what could that stuff, guys.
No, and because of the plane, we were talking about it before the show that it's a great first jet. It's inexpensive.
Right.
Not cheap. Inexpensive.
Both of these airplanes are great entry-level airplanes.
And you go out there, and if you dig them up a little bit, so what?
So what?
You're learning.
You glue it back together, you fix it, and you fly it some more.
Get your skills up. Go into something new.
Right. Definitely. And that's what me and Dad have been talking about.
I think that's where these people are looking at as far as
right.
What they're doing with the airplanes. Good entry-level airplanes to start with, and not to say that Aeros don't have other airplanes that could go to the next level with. That's not what we're saying. But they
well, they do have a very good starter section. So you've got the Cessna now. Well, it's called the Bigfoot, and then you've got the P-51, the P-47, the Bearcat, and then you've got your first jet.
There you go.
I mean, you've got kind of the. Well, and now they have the Cub and the Cessna. I forgot those two had come out too. So I mean, they've got, and those are two-cell birds. So they're. I mean, they've got all aspects kind of covered on the way up.
You can stay with Aeros and get your skills all the way up to a jet.
Right. Now, I understand if you don't just stay with Aeros. There are many other companies out there. Spread your wings. But I think this, for a windy weather plane is awesome. I went out and flew it, and I'd like to tell you, when you see the video tonight, it's hard to tell it because there is you can't hear the wind like normally in a video because we have the big sock thing that covers our mic now. But I mean, we're flying in 20, 25 mile an hour gusts, and the plane handled it just fine. And it was in the evening. It was beautiful, guys.
Yeah, don't be afraid of the wind, guys.
The lights on this plane.
It's a challenge to fly in the wind if you have the right airplane.
Yeah, if you have the right airplane, the wind's no big deal.
This is the right airplane for wind.
Yeah. So I think we have our next guest ready. We're gonna pop him in if Lori's ready. Lori, you ready?
Not to say you can't fly it.
Let's get our first guest in tonight. I was talking to him on Messenger earlier, and I got to see this thing fly, and I cannot wait for you guys to see it. Let's bring on Steve Hodges, the RC Jet Dude. Welcome to the channel, Steve. Can you hear us?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. He's a little quiet, Lori. Let's check with our audience to make sure that I think he's a little quiet right now, though.
I'll speak up. I've got a loud voice.
Holy cow, look at this. Real quick, Steve, before we get going, the Fred Barron, thank you so much for the super chat. And Timothy Toutant, thank you so much for the super chat. Guys, we really appreciate that. That helps us get these airplanes and all these guys on the channel every week. All right, Steve, that thing is absolutely gorgeous. That has to be the prettiest helicopter I have ever seen somebody do in a model, and I cannot wait to see it in person.
I'm pretty stoked about it myself. It's an amazing helicopter, something I've always wanted to do. Ever since the Apache came out and I first started seeing early versions of it that people obviously had to scratch build years ago, that was something I always wanted to get eventually. I flew helicopters back in the 80s and 90s and got out of them for quite a period of time, but always something I loved to do and wanted to get back into, and scale was more my speed than 3D.
Definitely.
So it was the right time. I went ahead and did it. So
did you 3D print the
radome?
Yes.
Yes, I did. Dustin Holloman, many of you guys know Dustin. I've heard his name and so forth. He is a machinist, very good with 3D CAD. He's helped me out a lot with things. He designed it, and then I printed it. And it's very simplistic. I have it mounted to rotate on the top of the shaft, on the top of the rotor head, rather. And it spins true, but eventually I'm going to put I'm going to put a hollow main shaft up through it, and then it will be stationary.
Right.
I'll be able to make that happen with the help of a gentleman by the name of Daryl Sprayberry, who's an extraordinary helicopter modeler. And he knows how to do it. I've already ordered the parts. As soon as the parts come in, I'm going to get up with him. He's going to help me machine some things, and we're going to get it going. But for now, I flew it yesterday for the first time. I didn't actually fly it myself. I did have a guy named Craig Quillen take it up. He's very good at flying helicopters up at Tired Iron Aviation. We met up. He worked with me over texting to get the flybarless controller set up on it initially, and some of the radio settings created, and then we got up with each other yesterday for the first time, and were able to finalize all the details and get it up in the air. And I let him go ahead and take it up just to make sure that there wasn't any surprises, and we ended up having a surprise, so that was a good thing. Because I had reversed the tail rotor rotation to make it more scale and to bring it up into the wind from the blades to make them more responsive, it unscrewed the torque tube that's in the vertical fin that comes up and drives the tail rotor. So we lost tail rotor momentarily.
Ooh.
It wasn't very high, set it down, managed not to hurt it, and we figured out what was wrong, and we got it fixed and got it back up in the air again. So that's kind of what was the video that I posted of it flying. It was the latter half of a 5-minute flight.
And we had a question from Farmer Rose. What brand helicopter is that? I know what it is, but if you want to go on and tell them again, they're just coming in maybe.
This is the Roban 700 size Apache AH-64D that Motion RC sells. It's highly detailed, very exquisitely built. I'm very impressed with the quality of it. It has light-up instruments on the dash. It comes right out of the box that way. Comes with the mechanics and the blades. What I've seen of it seems to be quite robust. Very highly detailed, like I said, and there's a lot of cast resin parts, detail pieces that go on it. I've made some changes to some of them. My little slow speed indicators here, I've made them pivot, taking the stock setup and modifying it slightly. So those were affixed initially. I don't have anything.
So how
Go
long
ahead.
is the assembly on this aircraft?
To assemble it just straight up, if you're just going to put it together and not make any changes, probably take about 4 to 6 hours.
Oh, really?
Wow, I'm surprised.
So
Yeah,
that's less time.
I thought it'd be more than that. And now, did you add those nav strobes that are on it? Because I watched the video you had of it, and the strobes look phenomenal that you put on that.
Yes, it does come with the red and green, the flight lights, they're not formation lights, but the landing lights, if you will. I added the strobes. I always like to put the Strobon V2s that I get from Ready Made RC. They come in red, green, white, blue even. They're programmable, and that's what I used in these. I vacuum formed the lens covers by using vitamin pill and then vacuum forming over that with the plastic. And it turned out very well. And then I have some fans inside the nacelles to help duct air through this. They're just 5-volt fans, one in each side, to help exhaust any of the hot air inside the canopy cockpit area, because it does get warm from the motor and the batteries and so forth.
So we've got you full screen right now. Is there any way you could pick it up and maybe kind of show the guys around it? I know it's got to be heavy, but I don't know if you could maybe kind of tilt it up to where guys could see the top end.
I'll try. This thing weighs 22.4 pounds.
Wow.
So.
Well, I know when you had sent the pictures to us, too, the pilot figures are all detailed out. You guys have been missing out this week that don't follow Steve. I mean, this thing is gorgeous.
There you go. Look
Look at that.
Yeah, man.
I mean, he's done every little detail on it. I mean,
so
it's
what
beautiful.
is the power on this machine? How
I'm using a, it's an EcoDrift Tengu 515 kV 12S motor. And Craig helped me locate it on a discount off of Heli Direct, so I snagged one. And it seems like it's got the right amount of power RPMs for this setup to give around a 1,300 or so, a little more, 1,400 RPM head speed. We're going to continue to tune it and play with it a little bit. Working on some of the fine-tuning adjustments now that we've got it working. But that's kind of the ballpark that it ended up running. And seems like it performs very well. So I was really amazed, for as heavy as it is. It was effortless in picking it up off the ground, and it didn't seem to want to pancake or drop out of the sky very bad.
I watched the video of it, and it looked like it was very smooth. I can't wait to see it in person now at Joe Nall. I mean, it looked absolutely gorgeous, Steve.
So where does the batteries or the power...
Yeah, can you open the hatch up and show us where the batteries and stuff
front?
go on? I'm kind of curious, too. I mean, I haven't seen a scale helicopter in a long
I haven't
time.
either. I mean, I'm asking questions. I haven't got a clue. I haven't seen a helicopter forever.
This is the hatch.
Yeah, a little
I
closer.
don't know how well you can see that.
Look at that. Look at the interior detail in that. Holy cow. You've got every little instrument panel piece and detail there is.
But that's the way it comes.
And that's how it comes right out of the box.
So
Yeah,
so
I
I
added
gotta
the
ask
pilot.
this question.
That's all I did.
I gotta ask this question: when you get all the whistles and bells and everything all tuned out, I know you. When are the live rockets coming?
Yeah, we need like a Burt gun on the front of it. And
I don't know.
did you ever see Steve's A10? He made it where it shot smoke out of it and it went
I know,
Burt.
but can you imagine what he's gonna
Oh
do
my
with
gosh,
this thing?
yeah.
I can't. He's got to be thinking of something.
The batteries fit in here just like this. I'm using 2 Roaring Top 6250s.
Okay, so 6,000s.
And how much time are you going to estimate you're going to get out of these?
We flew it for 5 minutes, broken up, but the timer shuts off when you hit the hold switch.
Yeah.
And so we made some adjustments and then took it up again, but we flew it for solid 5 minutes.
Uh-huh.
And that's 44% left in the pack.
So there's quite a bit still in there. Because let's see,
Yeah.
28 is about storage voltage, if I remember right. So you still had quite a bit in
So-
the tank. So you can probably get about 7 minutes out of it.
Probably could go longer. For the initial flights, we'll just play it safe.
Right. It's always better to be safe than sorry. It's like when I finally I've got the storage ready to go again, but when we do fly, I'm probably only going to set my timer for 4 minutes because I'd rather be safe those first couple of flights till we know the airplane.
Absolutely.
It sure is a lot easier to land when you have the motor running, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with helicopters.
That's-
Auto-rotating's cool, but it's not very fun when you have to do it.
I know everybody's going to ask this question, and it's the worst question to have to ask somebody, but I have to ask. Because of the quarter scale airplanes, where are we at is cost-wise?
Yeah, okay. What does it cost to get one setting
Somewhere
in front
in
of
the
you like
ballpark,
that?
you know,
Just
to be-
ballpark us.
Ballpark is here.
Ballpark it all together with everything. Now, if you find parts aftermarket, or you can get them maybe at you can buy third-party used stuff. I got a used Hobby Wing 130 amp ESC.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Got a good deal on it. Jumped on it. I got the motor brand new, but it was on a sale. So just looking around, you can save quite a bit of money. I bought the servos from Craig Quillen. He was upgrading to some different servos, and he had his for sale. They're perfectly good servos. They're BK servos, 7001 for the tail, and for the cyclic, and 7006, I believe, for the tail rotor. And I got those at a really good price. I saved immense amount of money on those.
Yeah, because servos could be the most expensive part of your electronics if you're not careful.
They're easily over $100 a pop,
Yeah.
depending on what you buy.
Yep.
So, by the time you buy the helicopter and then get a speed controller and a motor and the servos and a flybarless controller, you're easily looking potentially at another $1,000 or more.
Right, because you're definitely
on
flying
top
a
of
gyro
cost.
in that, right?
Yeah, you got to have a flybarless controller on there.
Yep.
And so I went with a Brain 2. It's a Bluetooth built in, and my first experience with a flybarless controller, but it's real easy to connect up to my phone and make changes to it right there at the field. Very convenient.
Right.
So I really enjoyed that. I was fortunate in that Craig had some experience with the Brain 2, so was able to navigate me through the menus. Definitely, for somebody who has never dealt with that before, getting somebody who is experienced is the way to go. And Craig was immensely helpful in that.
The
So
only time I ever flew flybarless helicopter, I had a Blade MCX 300, I think is what they called it. It was a 300 size helicopter. I can't remember. I had a flybarless though, and I actually really enjoyed it. It definitely needed that computer programming part of it to make it fly that way. But I really enjoyed it. It was a 3D helicopter. I always wanted to go scale. I just never could afford it. And then the guys at the field all kind of got tired of me flying them because it's like watching a lawnmower fly around in front of you. But I loved the helicopters. I thought they were a lot of fun.
We've got a lot of comments saying that we'd like you to put out a video on this machine.
He's got a video out, guys.
Oh, you do? Okay. Well, I'm just reading the screen.
After
here,
the
guys.
video ends tonight, I will make sure to link the video of his helicopter flight in the description. I just forgot to do it before we started, but I will definitely put it in here. Lori might even be able to look it up and drop it in here for
the
you
video
guys.
was made of you doing the test flight?
Yep.
Is this right?
Yes, yesterday afternoon, I was up at George's at Tired Iron Aviation, and me and Craig met, and we finalized the setup, and then were able to get it out and fly it. And I took video of each of the flight attempts. And the third and last video is the one I posted. It's the second half of a 5-minute flight. The first half, he set it down and made some adjustments, so I stopped filming. And then I started again when he got ready to fly it again. So it's about a 2.5-minute long video.
Lori's preparing the video right now, actually. We're going to show just a few seconds of it for you guys. And then if you like it, you can go in and watch it after the show, the full video. I highly recommend it. It's a very neat helicopter. We'll give you a few seconds of it here so you can see it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. We're going to get that on screen momentarily for you guys that are wanting to see this bad boy in action. I'm telling you, the strobes that you were using, are these the same strobes you used in your MiG?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Strobon brand of strobes, they're very bright. You can see them in the daylight. This was an almost dusk flight, so they showed really good. Even the red and the green, lights on the sides of the nacelles showed up very well.
Okay, I think.
But
all right, we're gonna get the video going for a second, Steve. Here it goes.
All right.
Let's see. Maybe. Hopefully everybody has sound for this. I don't think there's any sound yet because it hasn't actually kicked on. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and again, this is Craig Quillen flying this. He's kind of our resident heli guru. Has been for a number of years at Tired Iron. And he's a 3D pilot. So he's very skilled at this and knows the setup and was able to navigate this thing. And he felt very confident with this flight enough to be able to start doing pirouettes.
Just in the initial liftoff, yeah, you're just slightly above half on the throttle.
And anyway, the thing just looks absolutely fantastic.
Oh, look at that thing.
It's amazing, the presence that it has.
Yeah, and
I love
the
it.
lighting and the scale details that are on this thing, I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah. So I was rather stoked, believe me, when we got
go
done.
easy on the lighting.
And, brought it home in one piece and was able to feel fairly
Blends in
confident that
against
I could
those
fly it
trees very
myself,
well, doesn't it?
knowing that it still needs some fine-tuning, that we can do it any time, but I should be able to fly it as well. So.
And like I said, guys, if you want to see that full video, we're going to link it in the description so you can go over to Steve's channel and check it out. Definitely give him a sub. He's always got some really cool stuff on his channel. So, I mean, if you're not subscribed to Steve, you definitely need to. His F-22 modifications where he did the opening canopies were crazy. If you haven't seen his F4 where he's got the parachute that pops out the back, I mean, you definitely need to go over and check it out.
That's
so
why
we're
I asked
definitely
him
dropping
when he was
the
going
links
to
in.
put the rockets on this
Right,
bad boy.
we need some rockets on this where you fly by and like troops of smoke come out of the back of the rocket pods.
But I take it that you will do another video when you get good and proficient at this bird. You're going to put out a more to show us what the bird will really do.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes. There'll be more coming. This is just the beginning.
Yeah.
It is a full collective pitch too, so you can do loops and rolls with this, correct?
You could, but I don't know that I'd want to try that with a 22.4 pound helicopter.
Why not?
But
the pucker factor
hey,
goes up.
I mean,
Pucker factor, bro.
full size Apache will do barrel rolls and stuff.
I know.
So
That's what I'm saying. I could see it doing it.
Well, he didn't really get to that rounded off price he has in it.
Yeah,
I never did.
well, yeah, we never heard the price yet here.
$2,500 or am I lying?
All said and done, you're looking at just shy of $3,000, perhaps.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me for the size of that
Okay.
helicopter. I mean, that's huge. That's a beautiful.
It's a helicopter. You know, it's got the gyro factor. It's got.
You know, the other thing is,
I mean, this is not.
Helicopters aren't very forgiving when you accidentally have a oops either, and you hit one of those rotors. You tear a lot of stuff up.
You can't be cheap on this airplane and cut corners.
Nope.
I mean, this helicopter by no way. So. You know, it is what it is, and you know, I can see if if I was a younger guy.
Oh man, an Apache. I've always wanted a Chinook
working.
too. I don't know if anybody makes a Chinook yet though.
I could see doing
There are.
this, guys.
I could see that being neat. And then what's the other one? There's the Apache, and then there's the one that was the radar-proof one. I've seen a couple of those.
I always liked the Cobra gunship from
Steve, you probably know. What's the one I'm thinking of where it was the stealth version of it?
It's the Comanche.
The Comanche, that was it.
Yeah, I saw 2 of those at in Dalton, Georgia, at the Southern Classic Scale Fly-In just earlier last month, and yeah, or was it earlier this? I can't remember. Anyway, whenever they had that, it was right after Jolly Good.
So is there somewhere that is exclusive premier helicopter fly-in?
Kind of like Joe Nall, but like a helicopter
just
one.
Helicopter.
They have a heli extravaganza at Triple Tree the week after Joe Nall or Nall in the Fall.
Okay, guys. So if you're helicopter guys, you know where to go.
Yeah, and then the one that I went to right after Jolly Good, it was the weekend after. It was also in Dalton at a local RC flying field there. It wasn't at the municipal airport, but they call it the Southern Scale Classic, and it's been going for a number of years, and I didn't know anything about it until just this year. But it's put on basically by Daryl Sprayberry, who's one of the vice presidents for his district for the AMA. And he is an absolutely phenomenal modeler. He builds from scratch the way helicopters used to have to be made, building plugs and fiberglass molds and laying up the fiberglass and machining the parts for drive systems and everything. Before things like this existed, where you had a kit that you could put together, and it was kind of an ARF almost situation. You didn't have those choices back then, and he was building from scratch. And I've had the privilege of seeing his basement and his house, and I was blown away. Absolutely amazing. But he built an H-34 that George now has that is a work of art. Absolutely a work of art. He flew it at a fun fly event the week before Jolly Good, and George said, "I want that." And he said, "Well, it's for sale if you're interested." And George thought, that's obviously too far out of my price range, but they got to talking, and George ended up getting it.
So I must have missed this, but how is that helicopter built? Is it plastic and some balsa? How? I missed that part.
Okay, it is fiberglass, hand laid up fiberglass, and then it is got plywood formers built into it for mounting mechanics.
Okay.
So
the mechanics slide in very easily. You undo the tail, and there's 2 screws up front that you undo, and then they slide out.
So
all the guts slide out the front of it.
Right.
It's
so
a frame
it's a
around
fiberglass tube.
basically.
Kind of. Like
Yeah.
I had a fiberglass warbird that was the fuse was made of fiberglass hollow, and
Right.
it had the built up.
So
formers
it's
on the
built
inside.
like a normal helicopter where you have your frame that's got all the guts and your gears and everything all up in here, and then it's got a boom that goes back to the back, and all that slides inside of a fiberglass outer shell, you could say.
So
Am I correct?
So in the old days, where you're talking about this person that was doing this building on his own would have been kind of like he was doing all this. Was he building out of fiberglass or was he building out of wood?
He was building out of fiberglass and putting in wood formers
Okay, yeah.
that he would have to design and install. He was building his own mechanics because there weren't. I mean, you can't go buy a set of mechanics to put in something like that H-34. They just don't make such like that. So, there are other helicopter companies on the market out there. Vario is another one, and they make some fine stuff. And they're bigger, typically. than this. This is like a 1/9 scale. Vario has a 1/6 scale Apache, so it's even bigger than this. But you're kind of limited. If you want a special one-off type helicopter or something, you're going to have to do a lot of machining. You have to be skilled in the layup of fiberglass because you're probably going to have to make your own plug and mold and so forth. And you're just not going to be able to find some of these things available. And companies, just like with anything in the hobby, companies that one time made stuff are now out of business. Yes. So you're left with, okay, how do I get parts for this now or whatever? And, they come and go. So you may have to fab up your own stuff or learn how to do it at some point in time.
Well, I guess it's the secret of fiberglass is keep the weight down. I mean, even on the old Warbirds back 15 years ago, when we really started getting quarter scale Warbirds that were flying well, was the secret of reducing the weight. And I'm going to say the same thing comes with this.
Pretty much try to keep the weight down as much as possible. This fiberglass is gel coated and then sprayed with the correct color of paint. So it comes right out of the box already OD green. The engine exhausts are black. The rest of the part pieces, the detail, a lot of that is resin. So it's pulled from a mold and you just glue it on. But I mean, right out of the box, the Hellfire missiles are already assembled. They have detail. The graphics are already applied. You just simply attach them to the wing pylons. It's just I couldn't believe it.
And all the cockpit is done, and the pilots are in it, and everything.
The pilots, there's no pilots in it. The pilots I got for this are 8-inch tall. I think it's Classic TV Toys is where I found them. I got the Army figures. They are the basic right size for a 1/9 scale project. The helmets I got from Fine Scale Modella, which is in England. The gentleman has all kinds of detail pieces that you can get from him. They're 3D printed for this particular machine to add extra, just extra detail to it. I'm going to be getting some of the stuff to put on the tail, the radar or the antenna that goes here, and some lights that go on the back, and some sensors and stuff. I'm going to be eventually getting those.
So it's a labor of love in a way to get it correct. I mean, just to really get the thing correct, you've got to be really...
Yeah. I didn't know much about Apaches until I got this, but there basically is an A model, and then they had some revisions before they finally produced an actual D model. And then the D model, late D models, had an upturned exhaust on the engine. They call it an ice cream scoop, if you will. And that was to try to reduce the heat signature from the helicopter. And now the current model is an E model that has all the fanciest sensors and everything on it. It still has the upturned engine exhaust. And there is a gentleman, Michael Brown, who is out of Charlotte area, who has one of these, and he is working on some extra things to make his more of that latter D model or even the E model. So he's making some 3D printed. He's already scanned it in to be able to 3D print the upturned exhaust and see how that goes. I did make the cascading tail. The one that comes in the kit is a 90-degree 4-blade rotor hub, and the Apache has them offset. They're not 90 degrees, and I wanted to have that same kind of appearance. So I talked to a few people. Michael Rosnick, he's a very skilled helicopter pilot, part of the Hobby Squawk forum, and also on Facebook. And he recommended some things. I got to meet him at that Southern Classic challenge. So he told me a few things, and I went out and sourced the parts and just did it. And it turned out, and it works great. I did make the mods, like I said, to these little sensors so that they would pivot like they're supposed to. I've I'm going to add a pivoting stab. Once I get the hinge, I've solicited Dustin Holloman again to make me an aluminum hinge to make this thing pivot. The hinge that comes in the kit is not as robust as I would like it to be. It has some things to be desired. So Dustin fabbed up real quick, just 3D CAD'd up real quick, a prototype. I printed it, checked it out, and make sure it would work, and he's making it out of aluminum. So when I get that, I'll get that fin to move where I can reposition it if I desire. I do want to eventually, do some additional sensors, some of the things that Fine Scale Modella has. I want to deck it out with some of that additional stuff. There's a light that would go on the back of the tail, a strobe, just things like that. I'm right now trying to deal with the landing gear. The landing gear springs are a little weak on it, and they bottom out. And so there's no give on a hard landing. It just hits the bottom, and that's it. And so what I did, actually, I did this just today, is I got to digging through my parts box, and I found the landing gear struts from an old 90 millimeter F-16, and I pulled the springs out of them and got to looking at them, and I thought, these are about the right size, and they're about the right length, and they're definitely stiffer, so I gave it a try. And it actually keeps the body of the helicopter a little higher off the ground, but gives it that spring and suspension to it.
Right.
So I think they'll work much better.
Excellent. Now, it looks beautiful. I think that is going to be one of those helicopters, when you get it finished, you're going to be competing at the Scale Masters with this thing. I mean, it's gorgeous. I can't wait to see it in person. I really can't. I know it's got to be absolutely phenomenal.
Well, I'll have it with me at Triple Tree next weekend and through the week. So.
And I'll be hanging out with you that whole week, you and George both. Any guys that are in the chat that are going to be at Joe Nall, or Fall Nall, I keep calling it the wrong thing. It's Fall Nall, not Joe Nall. But come by the Motion RC hangar. Me, Steve, George, Mrs. Boozer, James, we're all going to be there hanging out. I'm so excited. Every time I've ever been around you, Steve, you and your family, his kids are just phenomenal kids that are ambassadors of the hobby, I should say. They're always super kind to everybody, always out flying like crazy. I love spending time with you and your family, Steve.
Thank you. I do want to say, I being up at George's yesterday. He's been a little bit under the weather, and then he picked up a virus or something from a coworker.
Oh, no.
Middle of last week, and it knocked him flat out. I hope and pray that he'll be able to make it, but with his current condition, he was rough as of yesterday.
Hey, I understand it. If you can't make it, you can't make it.
He was contemplating. He's like, with the heat, with the stress level, with the schedule and everything, he just wasn't sure. He said he'd really have to rebound to feel good enough to be able to do this. And so I'm really hoping that he'll be able to make it. But just keep him in your prayers and thoughts. He's having a rough go of it right now.
If he doesn't make it, I completely understand it. Everybody was super nice to me about not coming to Jolly Good. We really wanted to be there, but that hurricane came through, and we said we were going to stay here, and then that hurricane didn't even end up hitting us, so I felt kind of dumb for not going. But
you never know.
You don't know. And I thank our community and everybody around us for being so kind to us to not jump us for it. Hopefully there's no hurricanes before next weekend. Fingers crossed.
I think the weather's supposed to be good.
Right. So,
and just so everybody knows, Papa's staying home because he's been on the road so much, he's going to stay close to home this time.
He's sized weird.
I'm going to let the rest of these kids enjoy this little outing. I'm going to stay at home.
I'm looking forward to it. So are you bringing the kids with you?
I am. My two boys are coming with me, and they'll be there. Enoch with his L-39, and he won that F-22.
I saw that too.
Jolly good. So he'll have that as well. He's excited to fly that. And Nathan will have his Rebel and a couple other planes that he wants to bring.
Did he ever get that C-130 put back together that crashed at Joe Knoll last year?
He got most of it, but there's a few parts missing, so it's kind of hanging in the ceiling collecting dust right now.
I was just curious. I mean, that thing had exploded, and he was like, I glued it all back together.
It was rough, but yeah, I mean, he makes a valiant attempt at trying to repair the stuff, and it's a good experience for him because he's learning what works and what doesn't and how to do it, and, you know.
Oh, yeah, the best way to learn how to fix stuff is to sit down and do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, Steve, I can't wait. I know we're going to be going live next week from Joe Knoll as long as Fall Knoll, as long as the internet is holding out for us. I definitely want to have you live in person where people can see us talking to each other at the event. I think it's going to be awesome. Get this thing up, get lots of pictures of it. I can't wait to see it in person. Man, thanks for coming on the show. You know, guys, just to toot Steve's horn a little bit. I mean, anytime I ask Steve, I'm like, hey, you want to come on the show tonight? He's always like, heck yeah, man, I'll be there, no problem. I called him. I mean, it must have been like 2 hours, 3 hours ago, and he's like, hell, come on, whatever. He never says no to this. You can definitely tell he's an RC lover just like us. And we always thank you, Steve, for coming on.
It's my pleasure, anytime. And I'm looking forward to seeing you and Lori at the Knoll in the fall. And I think we're going to have a good time.
I do too. I think we're going to let you go. We've got another guest coming on tonight. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your helicopter with us tonight. It's not too often we get helicopters on the show, so it's kind of a different thing.
Yeah, he's our first helicopter.
First helicopter on the show, so really neat.
Well, cool.
Started it out with the big one, too.
Yeah, you can't get us bigger.
So, all right, Steve. Well, thank you for coming. We're going to get you off right now, and then we'll see you next week. And we're going to start getting our next guest ready. And thank you so much again.
All right. Take it easy.
Okay,
And
Leslie,
it's just us again.
You did have a question. Have you made the Marlin?
I have not flown the Marlin yet, guys. Somebody was asking. The wind here has been insane the last couple days. I don't know what it is. There was kind of a cold front that came through here in Florida, and then the weather has just been stupid. It's been
east to
20
west,
miles an hour,
east to
15
west
miles
wind,
an hour,
straight
direct
across Florida,
crosswind
and
across
it's been
Florida. Yeah, it's just been
and
nuts.
we don't
right
have
now.
an east to west runway, so it's direct crosswind.
The good news is I had my Bigfoot to fly, so it didn't care too much about it. I just I'd drive out to the side of the runway, take off across the runway, and it'd be fine. But for the Marlin, I'm kind of waiting on the wind to either be down the runway or a little less than. It's been stupid.
Yeah, we wanted to get the.
We want to fly the Storch right
again.
now.
We couldn't fly it.
I don't want to go fly the Storch in crazy crosswinds either.
I bought me a 1700
Flightline Corsair. He hadn't flown that yet
either.
either.
Fly it. You've got an A4 Skyhawk. Hadn't been able to fly it.
I got something sitting right over
here,
here,
guys. We got a lot of
guys.
stuff in the box and all ready to go.
This one's got to get unboxed still.
Hey,
hey, Captain Blosh, look at this. Man, I'm excited about this. I've always wanted this airplane. Anyway, that'll be a fun one.
And then you still have that big other thing.
What big other thing?
The
Viper. We
the
still got to fly the
Viper,
Viper, but the weather, like I said, it's been crazy. So, anyway.
We're not complaining, guys.
We're not complaining. It's a wonderful problem to have all these airplanes.
I tell you what, this is just great.
So, what do you say we get our next guest on the line if he's done playing with his airplane and juggling it?
And I'll give you a guess who it is.
Yeah, guess who it is. Stick a monkey pants. You guys all know and love him. The one, the only Pilot Ryan. As he's finishing a drink, he's like, hey.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing, brother man?
I'm outstanding. How are you?
Wonderful. It has been a very fun weekend here at the Merry Boozers, hanging out with you, doing this collaboration. man, I can't get over how lucky we are lately. We've got Joe Nall coming. We've got the Marlin. We've got the Bigfoot. We're hanging out with you. We have a wonderful community that's supporting us. Once again, Fred Barron, if you're still in here, super thanks to you for the super chat earlier.
We had our first helicopter on.
We had our first helicopter guy on the show. I mean, that was kind of cool. Something different. Whoa!
We're doing a lot
It's
of
robust.
fun.
I'm going to throw them all off the side.
Good lord.
We're all good.
You need some jokes.
Hey, Mitchell, what's going on?
Say-
Can I say hi to folks?
Sure. Go for it.
You know what? I'm gonna rip for a minute. Is that all right?
Go.
We'll be quiet.
Well, you don't have to. So listen, hey, you guys. First of all, thanks to the Merry Boozers for the production on this collaboration we've been doing this weekend and into the future. We have ripped a hole in the space-time continuum working in the past and in the future this weekend. We will go to the extremes to bring you, knowledge on foam aircraft. So what I'm getting at is so glad to be here live. We worked earlier in the week to put together that show y'all saw last night. Just got back from the lake house today. So I just wasn't going to miss a show, and we had work to do. So just really glad to be here right now. And while I'm talking about it, you guys, we set premieres as promised for the flight videos from both of us. So mine is slated to go on at 10 o'clock unless we get off early. And then Wesley's is slated for 10:15. So if we get off earlier, we'll bump it up a little bit, but be checking out my channel for 10 o'clock where I released the maiden flight of my Bigfoot in super calm conditions. And then 10:15, Wesley's doing his. So I had Bobby Committa with me on the camera, this brand new one, guys. Thanks to the community for supporting us and helping us raise money so we can keep bringing you the best stuff we can. So me and Bobby flew it the other day, actually the very day we did the pre-recording, and we forgot to calibrate the ESC. So our third flight, we weren't rolling the camera. I calibrated it, and this thing, it woke it up. So I'm not going to show you Bobby's flight because I want to have full power for when I show you Captain Committa on the sticks with this one. But it really is a joy to fly, and we can't wait to take it back out. Reckham Roy's RC Jet Dude, let me make sure. He says there's a strange echo. There's no volume on for me, so anywhere weird. Eric Quinn, Reckham Roy, Jeff Foster, not seen you, cool. Deuces Wild, Dennis Farley, better than ripping a hole in your shorts, absolutely. Let's see, DW Productions, Mary Boozer RC, Anthony Sanfilippo, oh yeah, Power. So guys, super stoked to be live, and we'll be with you again in the premiere chat room when our flight videos drop. And again, the links are in the description, and also I can drop you another one here. Bam, there it is. And that is how we get it done, ladies and gentlemen. That is how we do it.
Are we back on screen, Laura? I get both of us. There it is.
Wesley's on his.
I'm back.
Wesley's back.
Lori forgot to switch us back on.
Wardrobe malfunction.
I'm back. Sorry. So anyway, yeah, man, it's been a fun weekend. I got to fly this several times. I really am digging it. I was telling the guys in your show too, just in the comment section, how great a flyer this airplane is actually. I mean, it's a great little airplane. I think this is going to be a good first airplane as long as somebody's got a buddy box to kind of learn with, somebody that knows what they're doing.
I agree.
I think this is going to be the perfect trainer. It's high wing. It's extremely stable. You got the big wheels that help off of taller, crappier fields. You know, most of us
You
have.
can fly this off of any field.
Yeah, most of us don't have the best runways to take off of. Not everybody's got a paved runway. And this plane's going to be the plane that'll do grass, a little bit of light gravel, any of that kind of stuff you're going to have no problem with.
Well, it flies out in, what, maybe 3 feet.
Ah.
I mean,
I'd say
3 or
this
4
one takes
feet.
about 6 to 7 foot. If you go
But that
full
isn't very
power
far.
and jump it off the ground, you can get
Depends
it out.
on your head.
Depends
Depends
on
on
the
your
wind.
headwind.
That's correct.
Right. Wesley had a hell of a headwind that first
and
day.
I've said it, Ryan, to everybody. This airplane you can fly it in a no wind, or you can fly this in.
I was flying it in 20
mile an
20
hour
to
wind.
25 mile an hour gusting wind and having
It's
a
a
ball.
plane that can do it all, and it's a good overall airplane for the first one because of that factor.
You know, what I like about it is many things, but there's enough scale fidelity on it to make you feel like you're not, chinsing out.
Yeah.
But then it's got a landing gear that's robust enough to take some hard knocks.
Right.
You know.
I agree. Very good. I like the looks of the airplane. It looks like an airplane. That's the good news.
Right. It looks like to me. It looks like a Cessna 150 with tail dragger configuration.
Yeah.
And we're setting up right now a shot. We have some questions. I want to talk about them. First one was any ESC issues. I have had 0. I've got about 3 flights on it so far. I mean, I'm not crazy on it, but I've been flying it pretty hard. I have not had a single issue with ESC. Have you had anything, Ryan? Mine's coming down cool. My batteries, after 5 minutes, I'm coming out about 3.85 to 3.9 SL. How are you doing on yours?
Yeah, I'm about the same. I mean, look, we have the task of bringing these for y'all to look at. So I've got 3 flights. That's it.
That's me too.
So far. I got 3 flights. We flew it. I went about 5 minutes, maybe more every time. We were having such a good time with the new camera and the plane and chasing down the sun that I didn't check the cells until I was off camera. But I remember is probably close to 3/8 after 5 minutes of going. After the first flight, even on the first flight, I mean, you guys will see it here in a little while. Isn't that fun?
Right.
So I did my maiden flight off the grass. I think I did 1 circuit in, and then I've popped a knife edge. So, I mean, I wasn't taking it easy. But it was calm. And, again, I was flying at not anemic, but definitely not all the power available. Like I said, I did not calibrate the ESC. You should watch the unboxing from last night on my channel, and you can hear the discussion on all of that as Wesley lays out the parts in front of you and gives you a good look at them. So, and at that point, I had flown it also.
Bleed So Trains and RC, thank you so much. A fellow West Texian gave us a super chat. Big thanks to him.
We thank you very much.
We definitely appreciate for that, guys. All your super
Nice.
chats, they definitely help us get these newer and latest and greatest airplanes, except for this
Hey.
one, because Pilot Ryan sponsored this episode of getting us a Bigfoot, guys. So big thanks to Pilot Ryan. Put the emoji storm. He is the reason we got this. And
Forget the emoji storm. Go super chat storm on my premiere of this plane.
Hey, no, you can super chat us.
Hey, but Ryan,
Hey,
Hey, listen. After YouTube takes 30%, I'll only take 75.
Right. Hey, we did have another quick question. I
how
want
that
to show
works.
these guys. Lori, if you can do the top shot for us real quick. Guys are asking about the wheels, and I'm going to put them on the screen real quick here. They are a harder foam. They're not super squishy or anything. But not a deal breaker on this, guys, because I've been flying it off of hard or off of grass and everything else, and they're big enough that they roll over anything. I mean, there's no problem.
They got a
with
rubber skin,
right?
don't they?
It's kind of like a rubber skin, but guys are asking if they're squishy, and to answer that question, no, they're not squishy. But they're not a cheap, junky wheel either. They actually have little ribs on them and stuff. I mean, they're a good looking wheel. But guys were asking about them. I wanted to show them how it looked. All right, you can front view again, Lori. Just to answer that question, we got it here. They wanted to know if they were squishy, kind of like a low bounce. The low bounce tires. I knew I was going to get that out eventually.
So guys who aren't wild about these kind of tires
Switch them to
can
whatever they
easily
want.
change them out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Easily change them out. And if you, honestly, I
Thanks,
I
Jeff.
landed it on both of the services we had.
Right, me too. I've landed it on both Geotex and on the grass, and it's wonderful. On the Geotex, man, it'll take off at 3 feet. It shoots right off of that.
When you watch Wesley's video, where he's telling you he's flying at about a 25-mile-an-hour wind, look at it because it's a thunderstorm.
It's a thunderstorm I'm flying it in.
And it's the prettiest opening of blue sky. He'll fly right to the opening, but you can tell it's gray bottom under the bottom. I mean, this is a gale he's flying
Ryan,
in.
the funny thing is he got to see the video early.
Yeah.
But what made me think of this, do you remember back when you were like, barrel roll around the moon with the Spitfire?
Yeah, I've done it with a few, yeah.
It made me think of that when I was flying. There was a perfect hole up there, and I was like, I'm going to go fly up around it. And I didn't say it, but I almost was like, barrel roll around the sun.
No,
yeah, man, dude, Go ahead,
I will
Papa.
say that Wesley took it a little easy. I think he's trying to show you guys a little bit of control as far as how it. He didn't do anything real crazy like fly it upside down or anything. He's trying to give you a real good video of the flight characteristics of this bird with the flaps down, how well it does in rudder turns.
The wild flights will come.
The wild flights will come, but guys, you're going to see how you can fly this bird on just an average pilot, in a way, can fly this bird
and enjoy it.
And enjoy it.
I think a lot of guys are going to enjoy this plane for the touch and goes. And Ryan, I'm sorry. I'm going to let you talk for a minute here. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No big deal. No big deal.
But my thing I see a lot of guys doing with this is this being their touch and go, windy weather, enjoy it playing. I mean, that's where I was.
Yeah, when all you guys pack up and go home because the wind got to 10 miles an hour, don't do that. Get
one of these planes to
and
play
go
in.
out there and fly, man.
Ryan's like 10 miles an hour. That's a nice day for me.
Well, it was in West Texas for us, but we have a lot of pilots around here. If it gets to be 5 miles an hour, they pack up
it's
and go
too
home.
windy.
But I'm telling you what, guys, if you are loading up, going home because it gets windy, don't. This is what you need.
Yep, you need a windy weather plane.
You need a windy weather plane. You can fly all day long. Here it is.
So anyway, Ryan, what's your thoughts on all of this?
No, I think you know it's great to do this with you and be able to. We really got exactly what we wanted. I know Wesley wanted to show it in the wind.
Yes.
Because he's so familiar and had fun flying timbers and other things like this, like a kite. And, these high wings are great for that. And again, the robust landing gear, the vortex generators, you got the droop tips. It's a solid little bird, 3S. When you don't want to take out your $500 bird, you got one of these that's fully capable of chilling civilian style or doing some, aerobatics. And, I think it's great that you'll get a calm maiden flight on my channel, and you're going to get almost windy enough to stay home. actually really legit windy enough to stay home on Wesley's.
You can see it in the
pictures. I saw it.
Saw it. The pictures we got up right now, you can see that thunderstorm building in the background.
So Wesley did a 10% down mix on elevator with his.
Yes.
I didn't get to putting one in yet, but every Cessna I know wants one. Around 10's a good starting point.
I'm grabbing my radio right now, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I had in it.
I got to divert tactics just a little bit because, I got the Real Flight 9 simulator available, at everywhere, hobbyzone.com, Amazon store, whatever. Support,
much fun, right?
The thing about supporting channels, it's easy to do. If you just follow the links, you don't have to give it freely. You just are going to buy it anyway. Support your guys. It is so fun, and I got my kid Rafe on it, and dude, he won't quit talking about it.
Oh, it's
He's
so
like,
much fun.
I want to fly Grandpa's plane. Is it on here? And I was like, yep. And I dialed up the Texan. I had him flying the Apprentice. The kid's sticking landings already. I was like, your coach isn't half bad, so do what I tell you and you'll be okay. I cannot wait. So I'm going to work up. I I'm not going to be using Rafe, but I am going to do some kind of video on that Real Flight 9. But anyway, I think this is a good solid bird right here. It really is. It's tough enough to take some abuse. It's got all the qualities you're going to find out of any kind of Cessna shape out there. So if you are kind of new, intermediate, you want to go Cessna tricycle gear, you could get familiar with one of these first, so you're not beating up that nose gear. You know what I mean?
Well, and another thing I like about this airplane is I like those windy days, and what I love to do is get out there, and I like 25 miles an hour, stick it in the wind, drop the flaps, and see if I can make it go backwards. I mean, that's just the coolest thing in the world, to see an airplane that you just stopped. And you're just, I mean, it's just going backwards. So I just love it. And then you keep it from stalling, and then as soon as it stalls, you power up and you go back around and you stick it back in the wind and you drop the flaps and you try to do it again. It's just, I just enjoy doing that with those kind of airplanes, and I've not got the skills in the world, but that's one of the things I love the best.
Real quick, I was just trying to show guys that wanted to know, that is my flap settings right there. Is all I was trying to give you. So my down elevator is on. Sorry if you haven't seen an IX-12. This is my down mix on this side, and then the other side is my elevator percentage.
What are you, 10%?
I'm 9% in position 1 with 0% on the flaps, and that would be like half flap.
Yep.
And then, shoot, I can't read it. 83% down on the flap, which is my full flap. It's 13% down elevator. So anyway, I was just trying to show guys that wanted to actually know it. There's my actual settings right off the transmitter.
Just do some,
especially some
guys,
down mix. It's gonna need it.
Yep. If you're new to flying flaps and you're new to flying Cessnas, you're going to get your nose up if you don't do a down mix. And if you do, get out of the flaps quick so you don't stall it. But, you know,
like crazy,
there's a couple things you can do. You can slow it way down or, you know, give it down stick. But a little bit of mix is a good deal. And some guys are going to want to do flight. You could do flight modes instead. Right. So when you trim your elevator in flight mode, flaps down, you cheat needing to do the mix.
Right.
So because it's kind of doing it.
I have seen the flight mode thing too.
Which is cool, but I don't know if they come on slow. Like if you have flap deployment set to slow speed, I don't know how long it takes for flight modes to work.
I don't know.
Does that make sense?
I've never done the flight mode thing.
I haven't either, but I want to.
I've seen a lot of guys talk about it.
Did you set your flaps up in slow mode?
Yes, I have mine for a 2-second deployment on mine, and at half flap, which is the standard 0 for the angle. It's the 0 in the trim in there, but I have 9% down elevator, and it seemed to be, right on the money for me. And then when I go full flaps, I've got 12% down in it, and it seemed to be money.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. The little 2S Cessna I did, I went out of the gate at 11 and 22% down, and it was perfect. Now, perfect for what? The situation. Like, I kind of test my flap mixes. You know, everybody's like, slow down. I test my flap mixes kind of at a good speed, so I get the indicator of what's it doing sooner. Because if I slow down, of course it's gonna tame, and settle. So if I'm moving at a regular old clip, and I drop half flaps and the thing doesn't have a pitch change or elevation change, because sometimes you can have a lift change but not get an attitude change. You ever see that?
Right.
Where you'll just drop flaps and the sun again will float up. That's pretty cool. But that's you're good then because you're not getting a pitch. Either way.
The problem is when the plane does want to. What we're talking about is you put your flaps down and the plane all of a sudden pitches up really violently.
Really bad, and you got to slow it way down and give it some down stick or whatever, which is a little counterintuitive, right? And it's fine for us guys with some stick time, but the new guy will not have a good day.
No, it'll pitch. This plane will. if you don't have any down, I mean, it will really balloon like this when you put them flaps down.
Dude, I flew mine with no mix, and I went with the default flap positions, right? So you know how your transmitter a lot of times already has, it's already dialed in, kind of, right? Where you could just flip it and you got flaps.
Right.
So, and I put mine on a roll dial. So I let these sons of guns, they are steep. So full flaps for me was stupid steep. And so, of course, the nose was way up. But, of course, on a roll dial, I could back it off a little bit. And, you slow it down and you hold the nose down and hold your attitude the way you want it. And it was just dynamite. So I just was in such a hurry to get the video done. I never even played with the down mix yet. But, again, poor dead horse. We're beating it to death. But I would say, new guys, be ready to learn what's up with a flap mix.
Oh man, this thing has just been a ball. I really do see this being guys' first, second plane, anywhere in there, and just having a great time.
Well, let's do this, guys. All of us have been around a little while, and we've been around foam airplanes. Let's talk about the toughness of this bird. I mean, I see myself. The foam is really
the foam is very dense on it. And, I mean, I had a couple bad landings with it. And, I mean, the gear, I know that you guys are probably going, oh, my God, he's hitting that against the table. But, I mean, it's strong. And I want to be a testament to you to show you here. This is the whole thing about me reviewing it.
Is the plane going to take some abuse? You got a high wing. It's going to take a lot of, before you drag a wing, it's going to take a lot of
it's going to take a big oops to hit that wing.
To hit the wing. You got the rigid. The foam is going to take a lot of abuse on the wing tips. I see that. The tires are going to take a lot of the abuse out of it.
Right.
And then on top of that is that if you nose over, it's a long way to that, but you're going to hit the spinner before you hit anything else.
Yeah, you don't hit foam on this when you do nose over. You hit
I mean, this
spinner.
is well thought out for those
beginner guys.
My opinion, and I want to hear the rest of anything else, but my opinion, you're going to get a lot of really tough airplanes.
Your thoughts, Ryan?
Well, some of that was cut out. We're talking about how tough it was. There it is, right?
Cut out, I'm sorry.
A little bit. It is tough, and I like that it's a bolt-on shaft. The propeller is pretty sturdy. Look, you're either interested in this bird or you're not. But it's definitely up to the task, which I think is really cool. Like with the 2S birds, I think there's one that's a little tougher than the other. When you get nose gears involved, sometimes you know you're asking for it a little bit. It's just one more thing to go wrong. I again, watch the unboxing and see how this fit and finish works. It really is the best thing to do it justice other than having one in your hand. $179 with a $20 off coupon gets you this badass 3S Bush civilian hybrid utility plane, 3S power. Goes together really easily. There's some really slick bits to it, the plastic. So that means if you do have to make repairs, you can easily plug in, the rudder comes off, the horizontal comes off, the wings are in half.
Nothing's glued.
Nothing is glued. It's fully, Henry Ford was in on this one. It's good to go.
Yeah.
And it's a top feeder. So it's tough. It's tough.
It's funny.
And I'm just gonna run with it because you're cutting out a little. Okay. Anthony Sanfilippo says anytime you get lights under $200, you're winning. You know what I mean?
Right.
Props for the prop.
So
link credit.
Can y'all hear me now? I don't know what's going on with our microphone.
Yeah, you're there.
Okay. Well, funny story here. Lori pointed it out to us a minute ago. We didn't even mean to match the airplanes tonight, but Papa wore the blue and I wore the red, and we were having to be matching the planes.
Good.
Hey, check that out, guys. Lori's got the image up, right? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Look at that logo up there.
Hey, some
Look at
guy.
that. Who works hard for you. I'm
And
like
it's-
James Brown, dude. I'm the hardest working man in no business.
And don't forget, it's not $179 if you use code. What is
Arrows 20.
it? Boom.
Arrows 20 for $20 off.
Get this thing for, what is it, $159 right now?
$159. Go triple time. Get a big sundae and eat it with some pleasure. Peanuts ain't for free.
Planes you can buy for $159, guys, and have as much fun.
And have the flaps and the lights and everything else you
well,
get.
I mean, you know, always,
Farmer man. Go ahead, Papa.
Yeah,
Sorry.
well, I mean, always $400 or a big price don't pay for a lot of fun. But you know, I really, you know, this airplane I believe would be a lot of fun.
Yep. And we'll get Papa flying it here in a
Yeah, I'm
couple
gonna
weeks.
fly.
Farmer Man wants to know why we have it if it's on pre-order.
Well, it's part of the. I mean, why is my name on the website also? Not to be snarky, but it's I've been at this about 10 years,
We
man.
worked
I started
hard
in
for
Mac.
it.
Dude, I've been at it, building for everyone. I think business. So what it is now is, you know, we are working hard. You know, behind the scenes, cashing checks, making sound effects. You know, working out deals, trying to support this thing because, you know, you get opportunities when you're just an animal and go without ceasing. I mean, I eat, breathe, and sleep this stuff.
Me too. I eat, breathe, and sleep RC airplanes.
Come on. I mean,
these are
for
what,
a
number
long
1 and
time.
2 in the country right now, right here. So
These are number 1 and 2. I got Wesley one of these because we do such a good job doing collabs together. I wanted to do one with them. That's why man, look, let me tell you
Ryan
something.
sponsored this episode, guys.
Let me tell you something ridiculous, Farmer Man. So I worked hard enough to get these planes for, you know, they're sponsored, right? We don't usually pay for them, but this is going to sound crazy, but I wanted to bring this so hard to y'all that I bought one for Wesley. So that's what's up. So there was an extra one floating around in the States. I was like, let me have them both. And we're gonna market this thing. They should be available pretty soon.
Yeah, and we're so thankful that you did it, Ryan. We've had so much fun with it. Guys, go out and get one of these. Sponsor the
Pilot
guy
Ryan
that's
and
hooking
Friends.
us up. That's
Pilot
right.
Ryan and Friends Network. Tammy Faye Baker is going to be my
Pilot Ryan and
spokesperson
Friends Network.
on the next telethon.
Dude, we've had a lot of fun. We really have. We've worked really hard on our videos. I really think y'all are going to enjoy the flight videos. I think we're getting close to wrapping this up, and then you're going to have 2 flight videos coming out tonight. Blow them up. Share them with all your friends, guys. I mean,
Can we bump them up?
if you think so, yeah.
Can we? Are we going to wrap it in like 5 minutes?
Guys, I think we're going to wrap this so we can get you our flight videos up. I'm good. If you are, have you seen everything?
I lost you. It's probably my fault. Can you hear me at all? But I am going to go ahead and set the time for 9:30. I lost him. I'm sorry. Did I screw it up? Hey, I lost you. What don't you have? I hear you.
Oh, you
hear
can?
me?
There it
Okay,
goes.
there it is.
It's back.
Okay,
It's
okay,
back.
We're back.
Now we don't have.
Yeah.
Now we don't have signal. She unplugged the camera.
Oh no.
Well, okay, so you can hear us
we
at
can
least.
hear you. Now, but my question was, can you pre-order this airplane?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody knows you can pre-order this airplane.
Well, Lori.
Links in the description.
There
Are
you
we
go.
still on
Talk to you,
YouTube?
baby? Yeah, we're still on YouTube.
All right. So look, man, I got mine set to 9:30.
All right.
Okay, we're
What
back.
we're gonna do, guys? We lost our video for some reason a second ago. We lost our audio. we're going to go on and cut it off right now. We're going to get into doing our our flight videos, guys. If you can still see me. Hi. So
9:30 for mine. Make yours for 9:45.
we're gonna adjust I'm gonna set like this so you can see me. We're gonna adjust our shows, and y'all meet us over on the Pilot Ryan Captain Mike YouTube channel. We're gonna watch his flight video, and then directly after that, ours is gonna premiere also. We'll see all of you guys there. We're gonna call this Ryan. I'm gonna let you count us out because I'm at a really weird angle.
All right. Hey, guys, we'll see you here in about 5 minutes on the Pilot Ryan Captain Mike RC YouTube channel for the first flight of the Bigfoot tonight in calm conditions. That's going down at 9:30, and then 9:45 Wesley's flight. We're going to roll, let you get a potty break, get something to drink. He's having me count it out, so we'll see you in 5. Hanger rats forever. 3 you later.
Thanks,
You're too
guys.
good to be forgotten. See you next time, Stick a Monkey Pants. All right, we'll see you soon.
All right, Ryan.
Bye, guys.
See you in the chat.
All right.